Okay guys, this is not going to be my normal style of video, but it's a video that I've been wanting to get out there for a while now. And basically what this is how I tweak my personal Windows 7 system. Alright, now I wouldn't do all of what I'm about to do to a customer system, although I do some of these things. I wouldn't recommend this if you're a computer technician. If you're doing this to customer PCs, I would not really recommend everything that I'm about to do. Uh, I kind of sort of know what I'm doing here, and I know what I personally need and what I don't need from experience. And there's really not a lot of ways to tell, what your customer may or may not need in the future. So I would be a little more conservative about what I would do to a customer's PC. But this is what I do to my own personal system on a fresh install of Windows 7, and I'm running Windows 7 Home Premium Service Pack 1, and you'll kind of have to follow along. I'm not going to go into great detail explaining every single tweak that I'm about to do, but just kind of follow along with me. And for those who work on computers, you should be able to pick up and see what I'm doing pretty fast. For those that are not really familiar, you probably don't want to be doing some of this stuff to your system anyway. Some of it you will, some of it you won't. But just kind of follow along as best you can. This is going to be probably a pretty long video, and I may actually split it into a couple of videos. So let's go ahead and get into it. First off, I am working inside a virtual machine here. As you can see, the VMware shared drive over here. And I also have most of my tools that I'm about to use already imported in my little folder here on the desktop. So I'm going to run through here and I'm going to tweak this machine just the way I would tweak it if it was my personal system. And like I said, just kind of follow along as best you can. So first thing I'm going to do, I hate this large recycle bin up here. I'm going to right click on the desktop and I'm going to go to view and I'm going to go to view small icons. That gives me more screen real estate, nice small icon up here. Alright, second thing. We have Windows Media Player. So default media player. I absolutely despise Windows Media Player. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and, just so this will go away, I'm just going to now don't get me wrong, I will keep it. I'll keep maybe Windows Media Player on here, maybe I'll remove it, it just depends. But if I'm going to keep it, I'm going to uncheck all of this because I don't want it saving history, I don't want it collecting information, I don't want it doing any of this stuff, okay? So I'm going to go to next, I'm going to go ahead and say yes, make it default media player, and don't set up the store now, I'll do it later. And there we go, there's our Windows Media Player. Yay. And like I said, I may remove it or I may keep it in, but one thing I'm going to do definitely is this little Windows Media Player icon down here, I'm going to unpin this program because I don't want it cluttering up my menu bar down here, or my bar. So next thing I'm going to do is set up my Internet Explorer. Okay, so we're going to bring up our Internet Explorer here. And as you can see, the default home page is MSN. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Internet Options, and I'm going to change this to Google. I'm going to go to my browser history settings, or excuse me, I'm going to go to my browser history, and I'm going to go to delete everything, because every time I reboot or every time I restart my Internet Explorer, I want it to delete everything. I don't want it to save anything. I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to set this down to 50 megabytes because that's as big as it needs to be for cache. I'm going to go to OK. I'm going to go to Apply and OK. Alright. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to open up our favorites here, and you'll see all these things here up to the favorites bar. All these are, for the most part, is Microsoft websites. One of them I added, but I'm going to delete all of this. Now, there's a quick and easy way of doing this if you don't want to. If you don't want to do it one by one like this, you can get out of this. We can go to Computer, Local Disk, Users, and then go to favorites, and we can actually delete this all at once, like so. Now, let's go ahead and delete that and empty the recycle bin. So that gets rid of all that. And we have this set up for Google to be our home page every time we open it up. Okay. Next, we're going to go to Manage Add-ons. All right, and we're going to go to Search Providers. And I don't want Bing anywhere on my system, so I'm going to go to Remove. I'm going to remove Bing. I'm going to click on Google, and I'm going to say Prevent Programs for Suggesting Changes in my default search provider, and I'm going to click that. All right. So that gives me Google as my search engine, Google as my home page, and it's going to keep other applications from suggesting a different search provider. And that's for those people that want to keep Internet Explorer. Personally, I like to install Firefox, but that's just me. Internet Explorer, the latest version, is not terrible, but I still don't like it. So the next thing we're going to do, and a lot of people call me crazy for this, but if you're running unlimited disk space, say you have a 250 gig hard drive or less, so you're running an SSD, you got a 128 gig SSD, what I like to do is I like to give myself more disk space, and I'm going to do that a couple of different ways. One, I'm going to go to my control panel, okay, and I'm going to start typing System, and I'm going to go to my System, and I'm going to go to Advanced System Settings, and I'm going to go to Settings on, excuse me, wrong thing, System Protection, and I'm going to go down to System Restore. Okay, and right now System Restore is on, so I'm going to go to Configure, and right now it's set to 3%, and this is the amount of disk space that it's going to be taking up. Now, a default, usually, I've seen this up to like 12-13% on a factory machine. I usually just turn off System Restore altogether, okay? I don't use it. I use a Cronus disk image to make an image of my system, so I don't need System Restore. And I found that it actually, if your system actually gets infected, it can actually infect the System Restore, and it can restore itself at some point in time. So I think it's more of a hindrance than it is a help, so I just delete System Restore altogether. That saved me, almost a gig of space right there. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is, to save myself some disk space, of course, I'm going to go up to my recycle bin. Now, the default on a recycle bin is usually a pretty good size. Now, I'm only running a 30 gig hard drive here, and it's using 3 gigs basically of hard drive space allocated to my recycle bin. Now, if you have a larger hard drive, this is going to be a much larger number, and I've seen upwards of 20-30 gigs allocated. Now, what this means is, if the file that you're trying to delete is bigger than that in my case 3 gig size, then it's going to say that it cannot send it to the recycle bin. Would you like to delete it permanently? And you just click yes and delete it permanently. So what I like to do, I like to just go ahead and set this number down pretty low. So I'm going to select this, set it to a pretty low number, and this will be higher depending on how much disk space I actually have. Display delete confirmation dialog. And what this is when I go to delete something, it'll say, are you sure you want to send this to the recycle bin? Yes, I am absolutely sure I want to delete it. So I'm going to go ahead and take that out, and that'll speed things up just a little bit. So now I won't get that dialog pop up every single time. Next thing I'm going to do is go to my control panel again. I'm going to go to Advanced System Settings. I'm going to pull this back down where everyone can see. And I'm going to go to the Advanced Performance tab, Settings, and I'm going to go down to where it says Animate Windows when minimizing and maximizing. And here's what this means. You see how this kind of fades in and then fades out? I don't know if you can tell through the virtual machine, but it kind of comes in from the corner, and then when you minimize it, it goes back down. That right there is unnecessary, and it actually uses more system resources, and it feels less snappy. So if you actually turn that off, so disable that, and then click Apply, and OK. Now you'll notice when I click on it, it just pops up instantly, and I don't have to wait for it to minimize or maximize here. It just instantly is up. So I like that a lot better. It makes the system feel a bit more snappy to me. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to remove a lot of the garbage that comes with a stock Windows 7 installation that I never plan to use. Okay, so we're going to go to Control Panel, and we're going to go to Programs, and Programs and Features. Now we're going to go over here and we're going to say Turn off Windows Features, and we're going to drag this out just a little bit. And now we're going to go through here and we're going to delete stuff that I never plan to use, okay? So, for instance, I'm going to remove the games. I'm going to remove, on media features, I don't use any of this. DVD Maker, Windows Media Center, Windows Media Player, and that's what I was telling you a little while ago. You can just remove it right here. I'm actually going to install VLC Media Player, so I don't need that. It's going to give me a little warning. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go down, remove gadget platform. I don't use the gadgets, so we're just going to remove all this garbage that I'm never going to use, and it's just taking up space for me in system resources. I'm going to click OK. This is going to take a few minutes, and then I'll need to restart the system, and I'll start the video back up after I restart. Okay, restart now, and now we're going to restart this virtual machine. Okay, now we're back up to our desktop here, and we have removed all those unwanted components as far as the games and all that, and the gadget platform down here. We've removed that. Now, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to bring up some of my little toys here, some of my little tweaking toys, and we can start to play around with this a little bit. But before I do, here's a little tweak that a lot of people don't know about. I'm going to go to my computer here, and if you want to generally speed up the entire system, you can turn off drive indexing, and it'll make the entire system a lot snappier. And what I mean by that is you'll right click on your C drive, you'll go to Properties, and it says allow files on this drive to have contents indexed in addition to file properties. And basically all this will do is it speeds up a search. If you're doing a file search on your system, it will speed the search up somewhat, but I don't use the search functionality that often, and I find that deleting it or disabling this actually speeds my drive up significantly and speeds everything up. Everything just seems snappier. So I'm going to uncheck that. I'm going to click Apply, and I'm going to go to Apply Changes to Drive C, Subfolders, and Files. Click OK. If I get an error, I'm going to say Continue and ignore all. This is going to take anywhere from 2 minutes to maybe 10 minutes. And yeah, let it run through, and as soon as this is done, we'll come back with the video and we'll start using some of our little toys to tweak. Okay, so now that's finished, and we've got the indexing on the drive turned off, so we'll click OK. We'll get out of this, and as you can see, it's already a little snappier. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my start menu. I'm going to go to Control Panel, and I'm going to speed my mouse up just a little bit. So I'm going to start typing in mouse. I'm going to go to the mouse settings here. I'm going to go to pointer options, and I'm going to speed it up just a wee bit. Not too fast, but just a little bit. I'm going to go to Apply, OK, and that'll speed my mouse up and make things feel a little snappier for me. Alright, next thing I'm going to do is start removing some of these start menu items here that I'm no longer needing or no longer going to use, and some of this garbage over here that I don't need. So I'm going to right click on the start menu. I'm going to go to Properties, and I'm going to go to use small icons, go to start menu, go to customize, and I'm going to go uncheck default programs, devices and printers. Don't display games because we've removed the games. We don't need help. We don't need it to highlight newly installed programs. Okay, let's run through the list here. We don't want to use large icons. We want to use small icons. We're going to go to number of recent programs to display. I'm going to set that number down to 2. Number of recent items in jump list, I'm going to set that to 2 because I don't want that to get cluttered either. I'm going to go to OK. and then apply and OK. Okay. Now, here's what we're left is little bitty tiny left with rather little tiny menu here, and next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to start removing some of this stuff here. So default programs, we don't need that. Anytime upgrade, we don't need that. Games, we don't need that. And there we go. We've got it trimmed down. Nice little start menu here. And delete that. So there we go. Now we're going to go up here. We're going to empty the recycle bin like so. And there we go. Now we can go in and we can start tweaking some other things. One thing I'll automatically do is I disable Windows Defender because it absolutely sucks balls. So I'm going to go to Control Panel. I'm going to go to Category, View Large Icons, go to Windows Defender. And I'm going to go to Tools and Options and automatically scan, uncheck that, and uncheck Use this program, save. Okay, and let's get out of that. Now, I'm going to go to my little notification center down here, and I'm going to turn off messages about spyware related protection, and we're going to get out of that because I don't need them telling me that my Windows Defender is turned off. I know it's turned off. I want it to be turned off. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do, we're going to go up to our little folder here. We're going to start running some of these cleanup items, and I'm going to start tweaking. So I'm going to go to my C cleaner, and I'm going to fire up C cleaner. Glary Reg Repair. That's going to clean out some useless registry entries left behind from all the stuff that I just removed. My little toolbox here. Pure Raw. And let's see. Got my other little registry cleaning program here. And basically this is just going to clean up all the garbage left behind from all the programs that I removed. So I'm going to go to Select All. Empty selected. There's 10.6 megabytes I believe right there. I'm going to go to C Cleaner, Run Cleaner. Applications Cleaner, then run the Registry Cleaner, and you'll see a bunch of stuff come up here probably. I'm going to go to Fix Selected Issues. No, don't want to back them up. 61 broken registry entries right there. I'm going to scan here, and I'm going to be running the scan here for junk files and folders. Let these run. We just freed up that much more space there, so get out of that. 2 broken registry entries there, clean those up. Go to the registry scan portion here, click scan. And it usually doesn't take that long, just a few minutes. Okay, we're going to select all and start fixing 167 entries there. And we're going to fix those, get out of that, get out of this, run the last one here. And by the time I'm done, you should be able to see a significant increase in speed. I mean significant increase by the time I'm done with all my tweaks here. Okay, so already it's a little snappier than when we first started, okay? So we're going to go to see if we missed anything here. No, everything looks good, everything looks good. Okay, we're going to go back up here. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is run a little registry tweak here. And what this does is speed the start menu up. So the delay and the time it takes for this to pop up, for my all programs menu to pop up once I mouse over it, that's what it's going to speed up. So I'm going to go to Performance, System Performance, 30 millisecond mouse hover time. I'm going to add that to the registry. And then I'm going to go to Fast Menu Show Delay and add that to the registry. And sometimes you'll have to restart for this to take effect, sometimes not. It looks like in this case it's going to. But when I restart it, you should be able to see a pretty good change in the speed. So next what I'm going to do is go to what's called Smart. And what this is, it's just a system services tweaking application. And you can choose default settings, create a restore point, save settings, tweak settings, or advanced settings. I save the tweak settings or advanced settings for me Save settings is what I normally use on a customer computer, but what this does is it goes down the list and it disables all the services that you have running that you probably don't need, or most people don't need, and you certainly don't need them running all the time. So I'm going to go to tweak settings, and this is going to take a little while. It'll take a couple of minutes here, and depending on the speed of your system, of course. This is moving along pretty well. And like I said, this is just going to disable a lot of those services running in the background that we just don't need. So I'm going to let that work, and it may prompt me to restart. I don't remember. But as soon as this is done, then we can restart the system and get some other stuff going here. Okay, that's done. We're going to exit and we're going to restart the system and start the video back up. Alright, we're back up here. We got our system restarted, and as you can tell, like I said, it's pretty snappy now. Everything's moving pretty well. Let's go to our libraries here. Now, next thing we're going to do, we're going to run a program called Big Red Button. Okay, and this is up here in my little tweak folder here. And I'm going to fire it up. See, Red Button. And what this is going to do is allow me to remove a lot of components that are generally either hidden or just kind of hard to find to remove. So I'm going to go through here and I'm going to select OS components, and I'm going to delete character map, connect to projector, debug, default, let's see, default music, default pictures, video. I'm going to keep the wallpaper, everything else looks good here. Okay, delete help, games, I want to keep that. I want to keep paint. Let's see. Delete sound recorders, sync. Okay, everything looks good. Let's see. Now I'm going to go to OK. And we're going to go to start. And I'm going to let that delete all those components that I do not need. Okay, there you go. Now, chances are that left behind some more broken registry entries, so I'm going to go to my C cleaner again, fire that back up, go to the registry cleaner portion, scan, and of course there's some broken registry entries left behind. I'm going to go to fix, and fix those 66 problems, and there you go. Now, another thing we can do here, we can actually go to the new menu and we can delete a lot of this crap here. And let me grab my program right quick that I do this with, and I'll restart the video. Okay, next thing we're going to do here, we're going to remove, you notice when I click on something, I can go to send to, and it gives me this big list of options here. A lot of them I'll never use. And also, if I right click and I go to new, it gives me a long list of options. Most of this stuff I'll never use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove those items. And I'm going to do it by two ways. One, I'm going to go down here, I'm going to click on run, bring up my run menu, and I'm going to type in shell : send to, and click OK, and that's going to bring up my send to menu, and I can delete stuff like fax recipient, mail recipient, and let's see, compressed zip, because we're going to install 7-zip, so delete that. So now we have just desktop and documents, okay? So now when I go to send to, it's going to give me these options instead of a bunch of useless options that I don't need. So next thing, we're going to go to the new. So when you go to create a new item, you can delete all that. So I got this program called Shell Menu New. I'm going to click on that, and everything that I want to not be displayed, I'm going to click the red dot when I highlight it. So new contact, red dot, journal, red dot, library. I do want to leave the shortcut, rich text document, and zip, and briefcase. And let's just uncheck all those. Let's refresh, and let's go to new. And there you go. Now I can create a new folder, new shortcut, a new text document. That's really all I need. So later, if I want something else in there, I can put it in there, but I'm not stuck with it. So I'm going to empty the recycle bin of those items. And there you go. And as you can tell, things are very, very snappy. starting to speed up quite a bit here, and all the sample pictures and documents and all that good stuff has been removed, and we have a very snappy yet very stable system. Next thing I'm going to do is click on this little application called SettleMaxer. It is for Windows 7, and I'm going to optimize menu show delay, optimize wait to kill services. This is just a laundry list of everything it does here. Disable Windows Defender, it's already, user access control. Okay, we're going to go to apply, yes, and it's going to restart our system. Okay, and we'll come back. And we're back. Alright, now, as you can see, we ended up with a pretty slim installation here. We go to properties, and you can see I'm only taking up 11.7 gigs of space. Everything is very fast and very snappy now. And yeah, so the next thing we're going to do, now that we've sped our system up pretty dramatically, we're going to go to this little application called Unwanted. And what this is going to do is going to install all of my default applications: .NET Framework, Flash, Foxit Reader, 7-Zip, Java, Microsoft Silverlight. It's going to install all that in one shot. So I'm going to double click on it. And you can see it's downloading Silverlight as we speak. It's going to download all of those applications that I just named off, and then a few. It's like 8 or 10 applications. It's going to install them all with their default settings. No toolbars, no Ask toolbar, no McAfee, security thing. None of that garbage is going to get installed with this. So if you just go to Unwanted.com, you can just select the components you want to install. It'll create an installer for you. You download the installer, and then you can just carry it with you on a USB drive, and whenever you set up a new system, you double click on it and you're good to go. It takes about, depending on how many things you have set up, it usually takes mine about 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here and start it back up when this is almost done. Alright, we're back, and as you can see, Unwanted's done its job. It installs Silverlight, Flash for IE, Java, 7-Zip, Foxit Reader, VLC, and .NET Framework. It skipped because it said it was up to date. So now let's go ahead and set those up real fast. And let's see, we want the tab toolbar, okay. And let's restart it to get that. Okay, we don't want to register now, and we have our tabbed Foxit Reader. This is a very good alternative to Adobe Reader, Adobe PDF Reader. It's a lot lighter and similar functionality. We're going to go to VLC. We're going to untick Allow Downloading Media Information, Allow Checking for VLC Updates, because we don't want to do that right now. Save and continue, and there's VLC, which is now our default media player. Okay, so now we're going to delete these shortcuts because I hate shortcuts on my desktop. And we're going to see if 7-Zip installed correctly. Oh, in Internet Explorer, 7-Zip. And it did. So we have 7-Zip installed. And now we can go through and delete some of these little help files and stuff we don't need. I hate those cluttering up the start menu. It's just a thing of mine. So can delete this, delete release notes, and delete documentation. Okay, now we have a nice clean install here, bare minimum, just what we need. And as you can see, it's very fast. I mean, just extremely quick. Now we're going to make a few more little tweaks here. We're going to go to the control panel. I'm going to go to System, and let's see, Advanced System Settings, Performance, and make sure that stays unchecked. Apply, okay, and done. Okay, so there we go. We have a nice trimmed down installation of Windows 7. It's very quick. We have a lot of space, and this is what I do to my own system. There's a few other little tweaks that I do that I just don't really have time for right now that would go into the registry, and set that up, but I just really don't have time to go into all that right now. But as you can see, it's very snappy, and we have more space now to work with. And this is what I'll do to my system. I actually, like I said, I'll tweak it a little more later. I would be a little more conservative with a customer's computer, but this is my base install, and I hope this helps somebody. If anybody has any questions about the programs I used or where I got them, just if you can't find them on Google, just email me or shoot me a private message, and I'll send you a link. Anyway, thanks for watching.